Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're going to dive into something pretty fascinating, the hidden rulebook that makes any shared space, whether it's online or, in the real world, actually work. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's a weird one for you. What on earth could a great pool party possibly have in common with a killer networking event? I know, it sounds like the setup for a bad joke, right? One's all about splash zones and sunscreen, the other's about handshakes and, well, LinkedIn requests. So what's the link?
It's this. They both run on the exact same invisible rulebook. Seriously, the things that make an experience feel safe and fun and just good, they're totally universal. It doesn't matter if you're balancing pH levels or balancing a conversation, the thinking behind it is pretty much identical.
So, here's the game plan. We're going to start with the ground rules, then hit on safety. After that, we'll talk about creating the right vibe and the importance of communication. And we'll finish up by looking at what it takes to be a real community builder.
All right, Section 1, laying the ground rules. This is where it all begins. Look, any great shared space, I don't care if it's a meetup group or your local pool, it has to start with everyone being on the same page. It is all about clear expectations, right from day one.
And check this out. This is a perfect example. For a meetup, you see rules like form a planning team to keep things consistent, or charge a small fee so people actually show up. Then you look at the pool rules. No glass, obviously, and shower before you get in. They seem totally different, right? But they're not. They're both just simple, upfront rules to manage how people act and make the whole experience better and safer for everybody.
And this is so important because it's not just about a list of things you can't do. The best rules, the ones that really work, they create what this quote calls a covenant. It's not about being controlling. It's about building a space of trust, a place where people actually feel safe enough to open up and be themselves.
So you see the shift? We're moving beyond just rules and into shared expectations. These points here, focusing on interests, explaining your why, balancing talking with listening, these could be from a corporate leadership seminar, but it's all about building that foundation of respect. You focus on common ground, you explain yourself, you work together. That is how you build a real community, not just a crowd.
Okay, let's build on that. Our next big pillar, safety. And let's be super clear about this. Safety is never an accident. When a space feels safe, it's because someone has intentionally put in place some hard, non-negotiable rules to make sure everyone is protected. Here's a number for you, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, or 40 Celsius. That is not a friendly suggestion for your hot tub. That is the legal maximum temperature. It's a hard line in the sand, a perfect example of a non-negotiable rule, for one reason and one reason only, physical safety. And how about this one? 200. That's the max number of bacteria per milliliter that's allowed in pool water. You'd never know it was there, right? You can't see it, you can't smell it, but there's an invisible line being watched constantly to keep you safe. And that's a huge part of safety. It's managing the dangers you can't even see.
Okay, now watch this pivot. We go from invisible bacteria to this meetup policy. Groups must not threaten public or personal safety. It is the exact same idea, just in the social world. A pool manager is fighting germs you can't see. A community manager is fighting harmful ideas and content you can see. It's all about protection.
This table just lays it all out so perfectly. Look at this. On one side, physical safety for pools, maintaining chemical levels, making sure the water's clear. On the other, social safety for meetups, prohibiting hate speech, banning misinformation. It's the same job. Seriously. Balancing chlorine is philosophically the same as moderating a forum. It's all about managing risk for the good of the group. And it makes sense then that this all leads to things like liability waivers. You know, those forms we all sign without reading? Well, whether you're about to go ziplining or just joining an online group, they exist for the exact same reason. It's about being upfront about the risks and making sure you're on board. It's communication as a form of safety. Okay, so we've got our ground rules for clarity and our non-negotiables for safety. Now we can get into the fun stuff, the more subtle part of the equation, curating the vibe. This is less about rules and more about shaping the actual feeling of the space. Just think about music at a pool. It's never random, is it? You can immediately tell the difference between a chill poolside lounge with some down-tempo beats and a family-friendly water park blasting pop hits. That soundtrack is a choice. It's designed to create a specific experience on purpose. And then, boom. Look at how a meetup organizer does the exact same thing. Their soundtrack isn't music, it's the format of the event. A formal presentation has a totally different energy than a casual hangout, right? A workshop where you're getting your hands dirty feels different than sitting and listening to a panel. The format is the vibe. It sets the tone for everything.
And that's the big takeaway here. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're a DJ or an event organizer. You're using your tools, whether it's a playlist or a meeting agenda, to intentionally design an atmosphere where people can relax, open up, and actually connect with each other.
All right, so how do you actually make all this happen? What's the engine that drives the whole thing? It's communication. It's the glue that holds everything together. The clear expectations, the safety rules, that perfect vibe we just talked about.
And great communication really comes down to three things. Number one, be super clear. Posting an agenda for a meeting, that's the same as posting the pool rules on a big sign. Number two, be present and accountable. A host has to actually be at the event. A pool operator has to keep logs and be ready to show them. And number three, encourage good participation. Something as simple as using a hashtag to get people excited or reminding folks to mute their mics, that's all communication that helps the whole thing run smoothly.
Okay, take a look at this maintenance schedule for a hot tub. It is relentless. They're checking things twice a day, every week, every month. It might look like just a cleaning checklist, but it is so much more than that. This is a perfect metaphor for what it takes to run a healthy community. It's this constant, consistent effort and communication that builds trust and keeps the space safe for everyone.
So that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. We've walked through the principles, now what do we do with them? This is all about putting this stuff into practice and making a mental shift from just being someone who uses a space to someone who helps build it.
Because when you boil it all down, this is it. This is the foundation. Any shared space that you absolutely love, whether it's online or in the real world, I guarantee it's built on these three things: clarity, safety, and a curated experience.
And this quote right here, it gets to the absolute core of it all, your why, your motivation. You got to run a group because you genuinely want to help people, because you want to build something real. The second your main goal is just, hey, I can sell stuff to these people, it's over. People can feel it a mile away, and that true sense of community, it just never happens. So I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. Now that you know the universal rulebook, the next time you walk into any shared space, a meeting, the gym, even just a local park, are you going to be just a consumer, someone passively using it? Or are you going to be a community builder, someone who sees the invisible rules, who understands what makes it tick, and who actively helps make it better? The choice is totally yours. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer.